How you doing? How you been? What's going on? What's good? How you getting it in? Body getting it funny. What's going on, people? What's going on, people? It is a day of another day of another we call Tuesday. And it would have been said, what's going on, people? Hope everybody's doing everything they need to do as far as their life and being productive, you know, in this oopala type of world we live in, and, you know, and things are going according to your plan. And it would have been said, I don't know if you know about this, but remember we were talking over about the Target, you know, about the bathroom policies, because a lot of people feel as though they do not want transgenders in the bathroom. Well, also there was a guy by the name of Eston Cybo. He's 27 years old. Here's his picture right here. Okay, now he was upset because the fact of the matter is that, you know, he didn't want transgenders inside the bathroom, and he left this little thing, you know, as reference to ban Target. So he was saying, for those unaware, Target will be allowing men in the girls' restroom of its stores, and will also allow women in the boys' restroom of its stores, all to support queerism and confusion. Okay, see that? Okay. You know, we've talked about this before, reference to Target and stuff, you know, about being protested against because they don't want the transgenders inside the bathroom and stuff like that. I gave you videos in reference to, you know, people walking through with the Bible thumpers and stuff like that. Well, Mr. Eston, the 27-year-old, has been caught with his stepfather with his stepfather, Timothy. Now, Esther and the stepfather, Timothy, now Esther is 27, his stepfather is 53 years old. They was caught keeping the 13-year-old stepdaughter in the basement, and this happened in Dayton, Ohio. Now, I don't know if you know about this, but it's news for you to hear. Now, remember, he's all protesting about, you know, trans in the bathroom, but yet still allegedly they have a 13-year-old inside his basement. Now, what happened was, she was inside the basement and stuff, and somehow along the way she managed to get the key from them before they left. Now, when they left around 9 o'clock at night, she found a way to get up out of there, to get out of there. Now, this has been over a year. Now, we haven't been protesting Target over a year yet. So, over a year, she's been down inside this basement, allegedly. So, this is the 911 call. What she did was she got out, she went to a neighbor house, and she knocked on the door and everything, and she wanted them to help her, you know, because she didn't want to go back there, evidently, with Timothy and Esther. Anyway, so this is the 911 call.
What's your emergency?
Yes, I'm down at Port Authority building on 720 Water Street by the river. I'm inside the building. I'm a worker down here for Holland Building Service. And I was taking out my trash, and I seen a young girl that is 13 years old. And she had her problems at home, and she had a lot of bags, and she had ran away. So I brought her in the building, and she told me the story of what, you know, she's going through with her dad. And I was just like, a crew to come. Maybe they can get her some help.
Okay.
Children's Service.
What is your name?
Karen Laudermill.
Karen, did she give you her name?
Miss Maritime Plaza, I'm sorry. We have Maritime Plaza, 720 Water Street.
No, the girl that's with you, did she tell you her name?
I can't hear you now.
The 13-year-old, did she tell you her name?
Oh, yes.
Okay, where did she run away from?
What's your address at home? Noble? 825 Noble Street. She said she had been peeing in the bed, and her dad had chained her down in the basement with cuffs on her ankles. And she said they had left, and she grabbed a bunch of clothes, and she stole some change, and she bought her something to eat, and she was downtown here walking. I was taking my trash to the trash can, and I noticed her asked her where she was going. And she said she didn't know. I said, you done ran away? And she said, yeah. So I brought her in the building. and I asked her to tell me what's going on, and she was telling me she had been abused, and she's
Oh, okay.
13 years old.
I have them come into 720 Water. Can you meet them at the front door?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I'm standing here now.
All right. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Okay, you see that? The neighbors are distraught, you know, and it's really sad because a lot of neighbors in the neighborhood did not even know this was going on. And this is the thing. Allegedly the mother had left off and she went to Las Vegas. Now, people inside the neighborhood didn't even know this was
A
taking place.
teenager escapes captivity in her own home. She was shackled to a support beam in the basement. And neighbors are shocked.
I never thought him or anybody do something like that.
Why no one knew what was happening inside a North Toledo home.
That's the scary part. How did we not notice anything like
Okay,
that?
so God said he didn't even know nothing about that. You know, remember that? Well, they got him. You know, they got the both of the things. And the father was arrested for keeping the 13-year-old, and he kept her inside of the basement. Let me tell you the treatment, what they did. The 13-year-old was held with shackles, and she was in the basement. She was forced to use the bathroom in the basement, and she had to use, ammonia like to clean it up after. She had to use the bathroom inside of a bucket, and they gave her spoiled food. It's almost as if they were trying to kill her. Now, people didn't even know they existed inside this. They didn't even see her. The only person they saw was the father, Timothy, and his stepson, his son, Eston. Now, this is the weird thing about it. The father seems like he's really obsessed with Eston. You know, and of course they use their Bible verses and stuff like that as far as, where they try to control people. This is one of the verses that's popular right here. Okay, you see that? Anyway, it was also asked, why didn't go to school. He didn't even have him inside of school. He said he didn't want him inside of school, and he said the school he had no choice. As the father said, and everything. This is what he said right here.
Do you want them to go to school? Because you homeschool, right?
I homeschooled because I had no choice. Not that has to be for another interview. But but my whole thing is they're so easy to raise. I mean, especially because of Eston. I mean, Eston's like the key to everything. I mean, it was just, I've never seen siblings be so close in my life, ever. We're talking Eston, really close. I mean...
But what about...
There's just things, she just didn't want to do things with us. She just didn't. I don't know why. I can't answer that. I love her, and I loved her for her. I didn't love her. I didn't think anything less of her because she didn't want to do the things and Eston wanted to do, ever. I mean, a lot of things they did do together, games and this and that. And
running? She didn't want to go running with you guys?
She did until she was 7. Then she stopped, and then she started up again not long ago, just a couple months ago. And then she stopped again. She says, "No, I don't want to do it, and I'm not going to force her to do it, So, and then she stopped again. She says, "No, I don't want to do it, and I'm not going to force her to do it, So, I mean, I love her, and I never gave her a hard time for it. Didn't understand why sometimes she didn't want to even walk with me, it was because for it. Didn't understand why sometimes she didn't want to even walk with me, it was because I can't always run. I can barely run because I have a lot of injuries. Real bad back. But anyways, real bad back. But anyways,
she says she's giving a different story.
Okay. Now, when he asked about the shackles on his daughter, he said that he looked at her face and was like, okay, when he asked about the 13-year-old, about the shackles on his daughter's, his stepbrother's feet, look at his face. Now, I want you to see his face when he's asked about the shackles on his daughter and stuff, and I want you to watch the answer. It's almost like people is like, oh, you saw that? Oh, they said that? And he froze.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that we talked with you, we asked you the questions, because, while you sit here and say that you would never harm your children, and that's what you say, and that's what we have to believe until, the courts say otherwise, your 13-year-old daughter showed people the shackle marks around her ankles. So 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 we don't know what to think in terms of that, and you can only answer that question.
And that's definitely not going to be answered right now.
Okay. Oh, he wouldn't even give an answer. He wouldn't even answer. You know, it just amazes me how people go so much to try to show so much hate when it comes to LGBT. And then they do their little dirt and stuff. You have a 13-year-old allegedly down inside a basement. And of course, he denies it. He denies it. He said that the 13 didn't want to do anything. She didn't want to go jogging, and she didn't want to do anything as far as any outside activities. And when it was asked, you know, does she want to go brunch? She was like, no, she didn't want to do this. Now, this is what he's saying to the report and stuff. But basically, the 13-year-old daughter says a completely opposite of what he's saying. Basically, to me, I don't believe that he wanted her out in the public because he was scared she was going to run. You know, he said she didn't want to walk with him because he was afraid she would want to run. And he couldn't run because his back and everything was hurting. You know, he had suffered injuries. Now, mind you, he's a firefighter. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know of this video, and I also wanted you to know the rest of the story in reference to the details.
It's a live report from the scene, and there's just shocking and disappointing news all around with this situation. A 13-year-old victim is saying she was held captive in this home behind me here on Noble Street, saying she was held here against her will for more than a year. Now, court affidavits are saying that she was held in this situation. Toledo Police Department arrested Timothy and Eston Saburo for holding her captive on kidnapping and other charges. The court documents say that the young victim is reporting that her captors were her stepfather, Timothy, and her stepbrother, Eston, and there were 2 other children living in the home. She's saying she was shackled to a basement beam and fed scraps of food. She was forced to use a bucket filled with ammonia as a toilet. Terrible conditions, and she says she was kept in the dark, forced to be there for more than a year. And court documents say this home was checked out and evidence is corroborating her story. Now, I did just get off the phone with Lieutenant Heffernan of the Toledo Police Department just before this report, and he's telling me, giving me new details on the situation. He said the way that this all happened was the young victim was able to secure a handcuff key, keep it hidden, and at the appropriate time go ahead and use that to escape just after 9 last night. She was near the Port Authority on Water Street when she was spotted. This Good Samaritan called police. They were able to talk to her, get the story. They say that when police arrived here on the scene, that the stepfather and the stepson, those that are being accused of holding her captive, were trying to escape, but they were arrested and actually in court this morning. They are being held in the Lucas County Jail now on a $500,000 bond, and you know, neighbors in this area all just shocked with this news. They said that they were standoffish, but just would never expect anything like this. But at this time, I'm going to toss it over to Sharon Gaeta, who does have a neighbor that we can speak with live on air. But for now, reporting live, Christy Lee.
Well, Christy, I spoke to several neighbors who tell me that they are shocked after hearing that the 13-year-old girl's father, Timothy Saburo, and his brother, Eston, kept her shackled in the basement for over a year. Now, just a brief moment ago, I spoke with the cousin of Timothy Saburo, who tells me that he is shocked. He stopped by here because he is absolutely shocked to hear this. And joining me now is Travis Bell. He is a neighbor of Simmons. You can step over here, Travis. Now, obviously, hearing the news, you were here last night when the police flooded the street. Kind of just talk a little bit about what happened last night.
It's just, I didn't know what was going on. Like, it's just, I never thought anything like this would happen right where I stay at. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, I'm sad for the family. I'm sad for her. You feel me? I hope everything be cool, but that's sickening. That's nasty. Like, someone, he couldn't have been in the right state of mind. And me, honestly, I feel like the little boy, I feel like he ain't really had nothing to do with that. I really believe he was brainwashed. Like, it got to be all dude, because, like I said, I tried to have a conversation with the boy, but he ain't want to talk. He ain't want to mingle. All they did was just let the dog out and go back in the house.
So, and when you've talked with Eston and you've talked with Timothy, the father, what were they like? Their demeanor? Were they Kind of just talk about the demeanor.
It was just like they didn't want to talk at all. They was just like a quick little shrug or yelp, and it was just like quick done and over. Like it wasn't no okay. They wasn't trying to get to know me. I can tell you that. They didn't care who I was.
Now, you've lived here for quite some time. Have you ever seen the 13-year-old little girl?
I never seen her. Don't know what she looked like. Don't know her name. I don't know. I never know. Only thing I seen was the little boy, the little girl, and the son. And the kids was always the one that let the dog out, use his bathroom, and take him back in the house.
Now, you have 3 children here, 3 young children that you live directly next door. I mean, as a parent, you have to be pretty concerned about that.
Listen. If it was mine, I wouldn't know what I'd do, man. Honestly, like, I'm glad he at where he at. But if I would have knew, I swear I probably would have kicked that door in. If I would have heard any type of yelling, like if I felt something was going on, I would have just, I don't know.
And you had mentioned to me earlier that this reminded you of Cleveland. What happened there?
Right. Yeah. Same thing. Ariel Castro, 3. Study it being 3 was just one thing, guy. But same thing happened in Cleveland.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Travis. Well, as you heard, again, the neighbors here are in shock and, are just saddened by this whole thing that has happened. And again, we will have more on this developing story.
Okay, you see that? Remind you, 27-year-old, 53-year-old, arrested for kidnapping a 13-year-old, and the kid, the man never married a woman that he gave the babies to. But he's the stepfather. But he never married, but he said he gave kids. But he didn't consider her like not his kid. He considered her his own daughter. But she's not your daughter. She's the stepdaughter. And the daughter is the 13-year-old in child protective services right now. And they face charges as far as kidnapping and child endangerment. Now this is the thing. He's pleading for his life. He's scared. This is what he said. The 53-year-old Timothy said, "It's surprised he will be surprised he make it to trial." He said that the Lord is his Savior, and he is going to heaven. So in other words, the Lord is the Savior. He's going to heaven. He doesn't care what anyone says. He's going to heaven because he feels as though it's right what he's doing. And this is the thing that gets me when it comes down to this type of thing. And he says, all the answers is in the Bible for what he's doing. My thing is this. Am I surprised? No. I would like to know, are you surprised? The same people that's protesting about the transgenders in the bathroom, we're never surprised at this act. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised the people who sit around and scream the most are doing the most damage. And I feel as though, like I said before, there's even more. Let's just watch and wait and see how many other ones are going to be popped up in reference to going through the Bible. What they need to do, everybody who walked through Target attacking them, they need to find who these people and track them down and find out all the different things that they're doing that they're saying one thing and doing another. Anyway, the man said, I want to know, did you know about this? A 13-year-old girl, she got away. And she's protective services now, And you can imagine, over a year, she's been down there suffering. Anyway, that being said, I want to know, did you know about this? And I also want to know, are you surprised that someone who hates the LGBT and so much against them are actually doing something like this matter? Anyway, that being said, I just want to know, are you surprised? Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And be careful. I love you. Goodbye.